There we go. So it's made me think so much about the power of discipline and the power of habit. And sometimes we might think that discipline and habit are not necessarily, they're not the same thing, but they support one another. That we can build healthy habits that become the scaffolding for when we have those moments when our discipline falters. We can kind of fall into the web of our habits if we have good habits built. Not everybody wants to get up and do yoga in the morning, right? So, but you're all here doing this, and so there's a habit that you have built to help you along on the way. But discipline is really it's quite a simple thing, and it's also a very complex thing. One of the things that we think about in yoga all the time in the relationship of discipline is I'm thinking about two things. One, tapas, this one of the niyamas, those personal disciplines that we cultivate, is our ability to sit in the presence of something difficult and sustain and don't run away. And we allow ourselves to be in a difficult emotional state, physical state, mental state, so that we can kind of churn in there a little bit longer and not run away. So we've talked a lot in our yoga practice about kind of widening the gap between an impulse and a reaction. Where we are tired, and it would be just so much easier to sit down on the couch and turn the TV on versus, I don't know, do something that needs to be done. And it really requires a sense of discipline within us to muster up the strength that we need for simple tasks sometimes. And this gets much more complicated when it's the power of the mind or our emotional states, which are a lot more challenging. So this book, Bringing Yoga to Life by Donna Farhi, I think all of you know, I've studied with Donna for a long time. And she's written many books, many of which I have commented on here in our class. But in this book, she has a chapter called The Freedom of Discipline. And I just want to read a little bit of what she has said in here. All right, what might happen if we have the presence of mind and the wherewithal to really be in that pause and to ask what would truly satisfy us? When we contain rather than constantly just discharge our feeling state, we allow ourselves to feel completely. In feeling completely, we re-experience our aliveness and the source of that aliveness. When we cultivate the discipline to pause, it becomes possible for us to make a choice that is outside of a normal habit pattern. And it is in breaking through these entrained patterns that we can begin to experience a more liberated state of being. Gradually, we become the freedom that we previously longed for. And, I think it's important for us to remember to ask ourselves the question on the regular: are my habits, are my choices in service of the life I want to be living? Is this offering me more freedom? Or am I sinking into habits that pull me away from sensation and feeling because that's challenging? So I know you're all very good at this. I've seen it in all of you, this strength that you have to be able to stay for the challenge. And I just encourage you to renew that and to remember that discipline is our friend. It's an opportunity to create freedom. It's not a constraint put upon us, but rather something that supports us and supports our choices to be more free. All right, so as you sit up straight and tall and find a comfortable seat, think about something in your life that maybe you struggle with discipline around. Maybe it's, cleaning the dishes in the sink. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's going to bed on time. Maybe it's keeping in touch with your friends. I don't know what it is for you, but do you struggle with creating something that is what you want in your life? A choice that you would like to make that lines up with your vision for yourself. Okay. And what are the blockages there? Are there old habits that need to be transformed so that new ones can support you in that web? Do you need to apply some discipline, some action? Is it really a matter of sitting still and allowing silence to expand within you? Is it widening that gap between having an impulse and what choice you make that's going to serve your highest good? Right, so whatever you're finding, something that you've struggled with a little bit in creating discipline, let's see if you can just sit with it and breathe. And as you bring yourself into your body a little bit more, finding that fullness of your inhale and the fullness of your exhale. See if you can muster up a little courage to commit, to have a sense of discipline around whatever this is. And I'll just read you a few more words by Gotra. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manners of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do and dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So can you just plant that little seed of a commitment to work with whatever it is that is a struggle for you? Breathe it into your being. Place your palms together at your heart. Let's offer an intention for your practice. Can you cultivate this tapas, this working with discipline through your practice today? Release the hands and let's find our way onto our back. So always remember, discipline doesn't necessarily mean grit. It can very much, but sometimes it means quiet and silence. Sometimes it means just breathing and being steady when you want to run the other way. Okay. So let's find our way into a deep length and feel yourself find that extension, reach your body one side a little longer, the other side a little longer, and just enjoy. And remember that good habits eventually feel really good. So look at this beautiful habit you have of your yoga practice and try to really savor how nice it is for you and your mind and your body. Okay. All right, let's bring our knees into our chest and rock a little bit, a teeny bit of swaying side to side if it's comfy. All right, let's hang on to the knees and do a little circling, kind of rolling in one direction, letting your pelvis relax on the floor. Feel your hip flexors soften a bit. And then we'll go the other direction, moving our knees the other way. All right, open up your knees and bring them away from the midline and bring them toward the midline.
So you just have that opening through your hip joints. Try to get to the full limb of what your hips can do right now. Right knee squeezing in. Start to stretch out your left leg on the ground. Wiggle your toes. Feel some movement in your feet. So there's a lot of waking up of that which supports you when we're standing. Right, switch sides, left knee and right leg long on the ground, and go ahead and move around. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your ankles, move around in your feet. Let your head get heavy, relax your shoulders. Okay. All right, and then reach out into a star on the ground and expand and spread your body wide. And then exhale, draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. Let's do it one more time. Expand open. Exhale. Draw in. And let's roll to your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Perhaps think of a time in your life where you've had a lot of discipline, and try to have a body memory of whether that was a meditation practice that you committed to and were able to sit in silence with, start moving through some cat cows. Maybe it was a project of work that you went through. Maybe it was learning to play an instrument as a child and practicing day in and day out. Maybe it was a sport that you did. Just think back to some point in your life where you really cultivated discipline, and sit in the body sensation of that strength for a moment. As you remember it, remember how it felt to feel strong in your sense of discipline, and recognize that that's available to you always. All right, let's wag our tail. Let's move our shoulders, move around any which way you want to move around. All right, and then nice wide knees. Drop back toward child's pose and stretch your arms overhead and feel that deep length in your sides. Open up through your palms, ground through your hands, drop some weight in your sit bones. Let's walk our hands over to one side of the mat so we can open up the ribs and enjoy that sensation of space and breath. Right over to the other side. Again, having gratitude for all the things that you do for your well-being on your mat. Come back up onto all fours. Move that spine around again. Let's find our warming twist. Arm up in the air. Exhale, slide that shoulder down and enjoy what the pose offers. Relax your neck. Breathe deeply. Inhale, bring that arm back up in the air, hand down onto the ground, switching sides, arm lifting high, drop the shoulder, knees toward the ground, breathing deeply. And now lift that arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground, curl your toes under. Let's lift up into a dog pose and come into a little bit of movement here, maybe pedaling your feet, saying hi to this pose and hi to your body in this pose. Again, feel some gratitude for the joy that you feel of being present in your body. Drop weight into your index finger mounts. Make sure the four corners of your hands are really breathing well. Feel the length in your side body. Stretch through your shoulders. Lift your hips. Then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, a deep forward fold. Let your neck relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine getting a little bit longer. Exhale, fold again. Bend your knees as much as you want. Interlace your hands behind the base of your skull and just help gravity a little bit. Draw your neck down and then maybe chin toward your chest a little bit. Inhale for a halfway lift again. You can hold your legs or the floor or blocks. Exhale, sliding back down. Push through your feet, coming on up. Reaching the arms to the sky, finding that full breath. Take your time. If you're dizzy, adjust, find your blood pressure again. All right, so open up. Let's cactus open the arms, a big open chest. Squeeze the back body a little bit. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, release the hands down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open up across your throat. Lift your chin, touch your teeth. Find your breath. Squeeze your shoulder blades and then come forward and let your arms leave your spine. Okay, I'm using a strap, so if you have trouble with this, hands on a strap can help your shoulders out a lot. Feel your neck relax. Open up the fronts of the arms. Then release your hands down to the ground. A halfway lift. Open up through your spine. Exhale to melt and fold. Let's grab your blocks. Step your left foot back. Come to a lunge on this side. Okay. From your breath, move. Okay. From your breath, move. Let's begin to straighten and bend the front knee, taking your time, feeling that nice rhythm of movement and breath. Enjoying opening up the hamstrings, opening up the hip flexors, feeling your joints move a bit. All right, ground through your legs. Inhale, come on up. Your arms can be wide or up high or down low. Support yourself. See if you can feel that sense of stability through your center. Reach your ribs off your hips a little bit. Let's everybody bend your back knee a little bit and drop down just a little teeniest bit. And then you can take your arms out to the sides or even hands on your hips. And let's just do a couple of lunges here where we're bending our front knee, dropping that lower knee toward the ground, just kind of pulsing through our legs a little bit, warming up. And inhale, back to a crescent lunge. Open up here. Exhale, hands down, back foot comes forward, a deep fold. A halfway lift, extending through your spine. Exhale, melting again. Left foot is in front, right foot behind. Let the breath move you. As we begin to bend and straighten the knee, feel free to bow your head. Feel free to lift your heart. Feel free to deepen your breath even longer. When you feel ready, ground into your feet. Slowly rise up, take your time. Again, your arms can be up, your arms can be down, your arms can be out. Integrate your floating ribs. Try not to push your rib cage out. See what it feels like to lift off your hips. Finding that breath. Soften your neck and shoulders. And then maybe you want to have a little more stability with your arms out or hands on your hips. And let's bend that back knee a little bit and start to do some lunges here. Stable pelvis. Engage your core, press into your front foot. Breathing deeply. All right, inhale. Rising up, crescent lunge one more time. Feel the roots of your legs. Exhale, hands down, back to a dog pose. Enjoy the openness and the support of your body. So you have all this space, but you also have all this ground. So feel the ground. And then when you're ready, come forward into a plank and hold yourself here a moment. Integrating into the center, hug in toward the midline. Breathing deeply. You can put your knees down on the ground at any point if you need. Finding your breath. And then find the ground all the way to the earth. Roll the shoulders. Discover your breathing. Inhale for a cobra. Exhale to melt back down. Maybe you want to do the same version. Maybe you have something different you'd like to do. All right, come back up. Swish around in your spine. Let's find our way to a dog pose. Feeling that extension and long spine. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Push off your feet and stand on up. Arms opening up to the sky. And then release them back down. Let's pause here in Tadasana. So recognize that tapas, that willingness to endure strong sensation in the service of transformation. Sometimes is enduring stillness when you want to move. Sometimes it's enduring movement when all you want to do is be still. So let's hang out in Tadasana. We don't hang out here enough, I don't think. So let's just be in this mountain pose. Feel your feet grounding into the earth. Unlock your knees. What if you just allowed yourself to be? There's nowhere to go. There's no pose to get to. There's nothing to do. Just to observe the body and breath. What if you could have this level of patience next time, you're in the store in line and you just want to get out of the store and hurry up, or whatever the impatience is. If you took this kind of energy and sat with it. Let's take our feet a little bit wide, maybe to the edges of the mat. And we're going to come down to a squat. And then we're going to rise up. Let's do a few. Opening up our breath. Exhaling to come deep. You go wherever your body is ready to go. So it doesn't have to be a super deep squat. It can be a deep squat. Whatever's working for your body. Just stimulating some strength through your legs. Engage your core to support. Now I'm doing this with my arms. You can do whatever you want with your arms. Let's try two more. So get down there. Maybe your knees a little wider if you need. Elbows inside your knees. Round the four corners of your feet. Hips in line with your knees. Breathing deeply. Arms back. Palms facing the ground. Heads of the arm bones lifting. Arms out to the sides. Palms facing down. And then lastly, arms overhead. Palms facing each other. Neck is neutral. Stay in your squat. Ground through your feet. Inhale, stand all the way up. Standing start back to a Tadasana. And just notice your heart beating a little faster. Do you need to breathe a little deeper? Are you dizzy at all? What are the physical efforting that happens? Do you have a strong feeling in your quads? Are you happy about this, or are you like, oh, I hate doing squats? What's your mental construct around the sensations you're feeling? Start to slow your breath, long exhales. All right, let's take our legs even wider. Turn your toes out. Okay. We'll start with a deep squat, elbows inside our knees, hips down to the level of our knees. Just opening up our inner groins and maybe a little weight shift from right to left. All right, and then come on up to stand. We'll move through some goddess poses. Deep breath in, just like we did in the squats, but a little bit wider in our legs now. Okay, you can do whatever you want with your arms. Try to move slowly so you give yourself the opportunity to feel the effort, the work, but to also regulate your breathing and to be very aware of sensation and stay with sensation. Just try not to run away in your mind. Sometimes even just counting, like if you're doing, I don't know, 8 reps of something, sometimes counting can even be a distraction from really feeling into the sensation of your experience. So, what is this right now? How is your breath? Where is the sensation in the body? Where's your strength coming from? Can you keep your torso upright, lifted heart? I pause at the top for a breath, and then we're going to pause at the bottom. All right, so come into your lunge. Lift your heart. Round through the four corners of your feet. Open across your collarbones. Breathe into the belly. Relax the shoulders. Feel the strength in your legs. Maybe your legs are shaking a little bit. Round through your feet. Open up your knees. Draw your knees away from your hips for a moment. Lift your heart again. And then inhale, standing star. Turn your feet straight and feel the inversion and the restfulness of Pujasana. So bowing down. Feel your heart rest as it inverts. Ground through the four corners of your feet. All right, and then we'll turn back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. Feeling that extension, the length in your body. Enjoy the fact that your legs are closer. And then come forward into a plank when you feel ready. Shoulders away from the ears. Keep that core engaged. Wrap the torso. Find the midline. Breathing well. All right, we'll put our knees down on the ground first. Any back bend that you want to do. Maybe you want to have your arms out wide like I do. Maybe you want a locust pose. Just see what feels good. Exhale and release. Come back up. Move around in your spine. And then discover a child's pose. And before we come back up to stand, feel the deep compression of your legs. Full breaths here. And then either come through dog pose to stand, or maybe you are skipping some dog poses and you just want to stand right up. So your choice of how you transition, going from a dog, maybe to an uttanasana, and then coming up to stand. Reaching the arms up and wide. Take your arms straight out to the sides like a T. We'll add the legs in Virabhadrasana in a moment. But let's just first feel the heart expand outward to the fingertips. A full breath in, deep breath out. Form a shape in your body that's filled with discipline, heart lifting. We're not collapsing anywhere. And then relax your arms down at your sides. And let's take a wide stance again. All right, turn your right foot out. Turn your left heel out, maybe. Maybe your left foot wants to be straight. And let's move through these postures for a moment. Inhale, arms up, legs straight. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, arms up, legs straight. Maybe you'd rather just bring your arms in. And this time we'll stay. So always, if you're having trouble regulating your breath or if your shoulders bother you, you can do this pose with your arms down instead of your arms out. And if you're feeling the fullness of your posture, expand from your heart to your fingers, reach from your crown to your tail, root into your feet. Full breaths, enjoy your rib cage breathing. Notice sensation wherever it's arising. The ability to stay within sensation instead of running away or wishing it away. Reverse your warrior, open up through your ribs, straighten your leg for a moment, and find your way into a triangle pose. Hand can be on a block or your leg. Open up your breath here. Maybe your discipline is in just staying in sensation. The rise and falls, the peaks and valleys of strength, the peaks and valleys of just being able to tolerate what you're feeling, the peaks and valleys of your breath. Okay, come all the way back up. Reach that arm, reverse your triangle pose, and let's find Parsvakonasana. Elbow on your knee or hand on the block. Stretch the arm over your head. Feel your way into this full posture. Root into your feet. That back foot is just as heavy as the front. Feel the extension through your whole body. Is your thigh bone able to move back? Are you tracking your front knee well? How's your neck? Can you relax any tension anywhere? Where are you collapsed that you can enliven? Where are you hiding where you could enliven? Is there a part of your body that's a little quiet that you could bring sparkle to? Inhale, come back up. Let's turn our feet going the other way. This standing pose is so good for us to have, building endurance and strength in our body and a sense of space in our hips. Let's start with the movement first. Arms up, legs straight. Exhale, Vera. Inhale, straight legs. Exhale, come into the pose. One more time. Breathing deeply. And just allow yourself to stay. You can put your arms in a different place if needed. Heart to hands. Find your whole body sparkle. Find a spot that you're not holding strongly, hugging to the bone, and see if you can hug to the bone. Find a place that's not expanding fully and expand. Bring yourself so deeply into your breath. Bring yourself so deeply into your feet. Push into the ground. Feel the support. Remember those long exhales as best as you can. Okay. Reverse your warrior. Open up through your ribs. And then straighten your leg and find triangle pose. And it can be on your leg or on a block. Inhale, open up through your arm in the air, shoulders away from the ears, tail away from the ears. That was the full breath. You know your legs are straight, so it's a different form of energy. Can you hug muscles to bones? Can you root to the ground? Can you feel the fullness of your spine? Come back up. Reverse your triangle pose. Reach that arm up. And then when you're ready, we'll find Parsvakonasana on this side. Elbow on your knee or hand on a block. Open up through your side. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Keep the spine growing. Root into your feet and engage all the muscles around your legs. See if you can find all the muscles around your hips. Press your feet into the ground. Find the sparkle everywhere. Where is absent? What's not in the pose? What's not here? Bring it to attention and awareness. Come on up. Again, turning your feet straight. Bring your head down. Hands can be on the ground. You can put your head on a block. You can put your hands on a block, head on the floor, wherever you're naturally going. Finding that breath. Turn back when you're ready to the front of your mat. Enjoy your legs coming closer together for a dog pose. Heart to hips. Push off the ground and extend. Full breaths here. Walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. You can put your toes together, or perhaps you want to block between your thighs. Come into a chair pose. Arms coming up. Maybe your hands are down. Maybe your hands are back. Breathing deeply. Let's drop a teeny bit lower in our squat. Maybe pulse a few times so you feel your hamstrings and your glutes help. Engage your core. And then up onto your toes, up onto your tippy toes, extend. And then exhale. Heels come down, folding forward. Step your left foot back. Come to a lunge. Drop your back knee on the ground and open up that hip flexor well. Find your breath. And let's lift the back knee up off the ground and come into a variation that you want of a twist. Maybe it's hand on the ground, arm up in the air. Maybe you're up with your elbow on your knee. Keep lifting your back thigh, drop the shoulders down. And then release the hands back to a dog pose. Feel that extension. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself here. Feel that ground. Integrate into your center body. And let's put the knees down onto the ground. Find the earth. Roll the shoulders. Take a back bend of your choice. Melting to come back down. Come back up onto all fours. Wag your tail a little bit. And go ahead and compress back into a child's pose and feel the nice feeling of compressing into your legs. From here, we'll come back up. Bring your left foot forward. Back knee stays on the ground. Maybe your hands are on blocks. Maybe your hands on your leg. Maybe your hands on the ground. Just enjoy opening up the hip flexor of that back leg. Breathing well. All right, let's go ahead and lift your back knee up off the ground. Find the twist on this side. Try to do the same thing you did on the other. Shoulders away from the ears, ground through your feet. Full breaths in, full breaths away. Release that hand down, dog pose. Long spine, full breaths. One more time, forward into a plank. Let's put our knees down and take your forearms onto the ground. You can put a block between your hands if you'd like. Otherwise, your hands can be on the ground. Try not to hug your hands to a fist. Keep your wrists in line with your shoulders and elbows. Come back to a forearm plank. Integrating that center body as best as you can. And then we'll lift up our hips, walk our feet in, dolphin pose. And then walk our feet back, forearm plank. You can always put your knees on the ground if need be, finding your breath. Lots of core here. And then come down, put your knees down and rest. Let's find a sphinx, elbows, wrists on the ground, open up through your heart. All right. One more time, we're just trying to get you to do some poses that are strong in sensation so that we can learn to live within the discipline of that. All right, so one more time coming up, we're going to do a little action within these forearm planks. So start in a forearm plank, and if your knees are down, just stay there. But if your feet are on the ground and your knees are up, let's walk your right foot out, bring it back in. Left foot out, bring it back in. So just taking each foot for a little walk, breathing as you go. All right, finish on your left and come down to rest. Come all the way to your belly. Put your head on your hands or your head to the side, whichever feels better, and just let your whole body rest down on the ground. Feel how nice it feels to breathe and feel that breath travel into the back of your body. If your head is turned, turn it the other way. Bring your right forearm in front of you so you're upright a little bit. Reach back with your left hand and grab your left foot. Descend your tail toward your knee so that you have a stable pelvis when you're doing this. Open up your quad. And if you can't reach your foot, you can use a strap, or you can just lie on your left side and hold the right foot in here. Just opening up your quad. For some of us, the discipline of staying in a sensation of strength might be easier than staying in the sensation of a stretch. For others, it's just the opposite. But whatever your experience is, be curious about your sensation. All right, let's switch sides. Left forearm in front of you. Reach back and grab your right foot, opening up your quad. You can always do this on your side. Stabilize your pelvis. Keep your breath moving. And again, see if you can find your whole quad. Is there a part of your quad that's not feeling sensation? Give yourself over into the pose. Stretch your leg, hug your heel, find the fullness of your thigh. Relax. Come up onto all fours and move your spine around. And again, when you're ready, come into child's pose. Now, when you come into this posture, you can put your arms where you want. They don't have to be overhead. And see if you can just feel the squeeze of your legs, your hip joints, your knee joints, the compression in the back of your leg, the compression in your hips. And then we're going to come up and prepare for pigeon pose. Of course, you can do reverse pigeon pose if you prefer to do reverse pigeon pose. We'll take our right leg first. So if you're in reverse pigeon, right foot on left knee or right thigh over left thigh. If you're in pigeon pose, take any support you need. I'm using a blanket and some blocks. See what your body needs. Extend and feel the length of the pose. Try not to lose sight of that upward part, where before we come down onto the ground, feel the extension. And then when you're ready, you can come forward and bring your head onto a block or onto your fists. Adjust anything that needs adjusting so that you're feeling this in your hip joint and you have a sweep across your sacrum where there's a sense of balance across your pelvis. Or to feel that your heart rate is coming down, that you can regulate that long breath again. The ability to stay present for strong sensation in the service of transformation. This is that gap, the pause between an impulse to react in some way. Widen the gap so that you have choice, you have agency, you can choose what's best to your highest self and how you proceed. If we have no tolerance, if we have a very poor window of tolerance, we kind of are like a ping pong ball, just reacting, going from one thing to the next, running away from one thing to the next, numbing ourselves from one thing to the next. So increasing this window of tolerance. Come back to center. And let's switch to the second side. The longer the pause, the more we notice our reactions. When you get defensive about something someone says to you, can you just be curious and sit with the feeling of defensiveness before making a choice of how to respond or react? Remember the upward. I feel like you can stay in that extension. And then when you're ready, you can come down to rest in more of a sleeping pigeon. So even though it's restful in the sense that your head can rest down and your shoulders can soften, there's still a lot of work happening in the body. So notice if you need some more support, if you need to hug your knees in toward the pelvis. Are you able to square your hips? How's your breath? Come out of there. Grab your blanket to sit upon. Let's take a strap. Left leg is long, right foot is up against your left inner thigh. You can always stick a block underneath your knee if you need some support. Wrap that strap around your foot. Inhale to lift up and exhale to come forward, Janu Shirshasana. Alright, so feel the fullness of your back body. You can draw your chin toward your chest, but try not to round the spine. We're still long. Feeling this beautiful stretch through the full back line of our body. enough. We'll take the strap into the right hand and open up your leg out to the right. Hold the strap with that right hand so you can stretch and open up through your low back in the side bend. Round it. Imagine you have a sandbag on the top of that right femur bone. Breathing deeply. Hang on up. Keep the left leg where it's at, right leg stretches out as well. Lift up through your spine. Maybe you come forward, maybe you don't. And notice the difference between your two legs in that you've done the stretch on one side and not the other yet. As you're breathing, we'll come back to center and switch our legs. So now our right leg is straight, our left foot is against our right inner thigh. Wrap the strap around your right foot, lift and extend. Tipping forward with the pelvis. So that anterior tilt of the pelvis, we're restoring and maintaining that neutral curve in our lumbar spine so we're not puffing out the lumbar spine. Breathing well. Come on up. We'll take the leg out to the side, round through your femur bone. Inhale and reach up and over to the side. So remember, when you feel a strong sensation, be curious, stay present, ground yourself into it and breathe. Come out of there, come on to your back. Bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. Now, different types of twisting can feel good. Maybe you want to put your feet on the ground and just windshield wiper your knees to create a little ease before Shavasana, which is great. You can turn your head in opposition. Or maybe you want a fuller twist where you scoot your hips over to one side and open up and let your body breathe. However you're completing your practice, maybe a happy baby pose after a twist might be in order. Maybe a little rocking or a little rocking plow might be in order. Maybe you need to support your legs and lift them up. Maybe you want to do leg up the wall for Shavasana. Maybe you want to do Supta Baddha Konasana for Shavasana. All right, so just kind of experiment with finishing up your practice. Maybe, a little bit of rocking, maybe a little bit of happy baby, what feels good. And then as you're ready to come to a restful place, that can look any which way. There's no rules. And so the only thing I would think about is this is your time of restoration. So make sure you're warm. If there's any part of your body that needs support, make sure you're taking it. Remember, Shavasana is never ever a waste of time. It's always nourishing to give yourself a few minutes after You're at the end of your yoga practice for just absorbing everything that you've done and bringing yourself into quiet and stillness. All right, so as you get comfortable in whatever position that is, melt your body. Is there anything you need? Clockwise, are you warm enough? Is the light okay on your eyes? Can you settle yourself and breathe? Props are touching you, push them away so you're not distracted. Feel the sensation of your body dropping, melting, releasing. For some people, Shavasana is the hardest pose of all. The stillness and the silence is super challenging to be with. So if that's you, stay, be here. Breathing. Start to wiggle your toes or around your wrists or fingers. Turn side to side. Big stretch. Maybe a small stretch. Maybe you're still being very still. Let's eventually find your way to your side.
harvest up your practice. Bring yourself to a seat when you're ready. Let's bring our hands together at our heart. Send forth your love and care to another. Offer your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.